The Night of 1,000 Tears.
He can bring you in warm or he can bring you in cold. The Book of Boba Fett's latest episode gave viewers a flashback glimpse of the Great Purge and the Night of 1,000 Tears, and we think this look at the past just sets up the future, and I'm talking about The Mandalorian Season 3. Bo-katan, Boba Fett, the Darksaber, even sweet little baby Grogu, they're all involved in the setup for an epic battle for Mandalore. But before we get into that, I have to warn you, we are about to spoil the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 5 and a bunch of other stuff that we think is still ahead, so if you don't want to get spoiled or you just don't want to hear me speculate, now is the time to test out your new ride. Alright, now that we're past the spoiler warning, let's get to the takeaways, and there were a bunch in this episode, so let's start with that Great Purge flashback. After bringing a Klatooinian in cold and collecting the bounty on his head, apparently, Din Djarin finally reunited with the remnants of his Mandalorian pals from Navarro, which at this point is just the Armorer and the heavy trooper Paz Viszla. As they reunited, the Armorer tells the tale of the Great Purge, when the Empire laid waste to Mandalore and scattered its surviving people to all corners of the galaxy and bombed the bejesus out of Sundari, the domed Mandalorian capital city. This was literally Judgment Day on Mandalore. They even had Imperial K2 security droids filling in for the T-800s here. Anyway, like I said before, this is all a setup for The Mandalorian Season 3. You remember Bo-Katan Kryze from Season 2 and from Star Wars Rebels? Her whole deal is trying to restore Mandalore to its pre-Imperial glory, plus now the Armorer confirms that all this happened on Bo-Katan's watch as she wielded the Darksaber and effectively ruled the Mandalorian people with the support of the clans. Anyway, last we saw of Bo-Katan, she had tried to recruit both Din Djarin and Boba Fett into her effort to retake Mandalore, and we think eventually that's exactly what's going to happen in The Mandalorian Season 3. After Din Djarin helps Boba Fett kick the Pike Syndicate off of Tatooine, Bo-Katan will once again emerge out of the woodwork to either try to recruit them or challenge Mando for the Darksaber itself. Speaking of the Darksaber, Mando is learning the same thing the Mandalorian Sabine Wren learned in Star Wars Rebels, that there's a learning curve when it comes to wielding the legendary weapon, and just like any other lightsaber, without training, the Darksaber is more of a danger to the wielder than to anyone else. Well, almost. Anyway, Paz Viszla, descendant of the ancient Mandalorian Jedi Tar Viszla, may have lost a duel for the Darksaber here, but he's likely going to try again as the Darksaber is a big part of his family history. As someone eager to re-establish the way, it's also likely the Armorer also has her own designs on the Darksaber now that she knows where to find it. But that doesn't stop her from excommunicating Din Djarin from the religion when he admits he took his helmet off in a life-or-death situation. All the more reason for the Children of the Watch to try to make a play for the Darksaber. But of course, before any of that can happen, Boba Fett still has a gang war to fight, so when Din Djarin helps him win it, you can bet that Boba Fett is going to side with him in the coming conflict to retake Mandalore. The Armorer didn't force Mando to give up his Beskar when she kicked him out of the covert, nor did she take back the gift she made for the foundling Grogu. The end of the Forge sequence makes us think that she made a shirt or garment of Beskar chainmail for the little fella, which might also fold up small enough to fit in the little package that Mando's carrying around until they meet again. If there's a big war for Mandalore coming in The Mandalorian Season 3, it makes sense that Grogu stays out of the fray, off learning the ways of the Force at Luke Skywalker's fledgling Jedi Academy. Then again, maybe Grogu's gonna put on chainmail and wreck shop on Mandalore. Who knows? Anyway, what do you think the gift is? I hope it's a cute hat. Okay, real quick Easter egg rundown because there were some very good ones in this episode and we just had to include them. Alongside the Treadwell and Pit droids was a BD exploration droid, which is at least the same kind of droid as the one in Jedi Fallen Order, if that's not actually BD-1 himself. Mando's Darksaber training with the Armorer echoes the training Sabine Wren received from the Jedi Canon Fodder in Star Wars Rebels. Cute Jurassic Park reference by director Bryce Dallas Howard, also of the Jurassic World/Park franchise. Now this is pod racing. The Naboo N1 starfighter we of course first saw in The Phantom Menace, and yes, it is Wizard. Watch out for those womp rats, they're not much bigger than 2 meters, and we mentioned pod racing. This of course should look familiar. It is the same course from the Boonta Eve pod race in The Phantom Menace, and oh, look at that, nobody's fixed that access ramp yet. What Easter eggs did we miss? What did you think of this episode? And most importantly, what do you think is going to happen next? Will all the remaining Mandalorians unite to retake their homeworld? And what did the Armorer forge for foundling Grogu? Is it a hat? Yes, I hope so. Please, I need this. Anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you for watching this episode of Canon Fodder. For more Mandalorians, here's why Din Djarin got in trouble for taking his helmet off. Remember, follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch. We'll see you next time.